My name's Tom Jennings from Backstageaxxess.com. How are you doing today?
I'm good, mate.
Well, it's a real honor to chat with you today. I appreciate you taking my call and agreeing to do the interview.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'll start with the first question, just having to do with the fact that this interview is to promote a show that you're going to be doing in Buffalo, New York on December 8th. It's a benefit to help the Buffalo, New York food cupboards. It's a Feed the City event. Do you have any memories of any memorable Buffalo, New York shows? I mean, you've played a ton of shows over the years, obviously.
Nah. Nah, it's gone.
Not a bit, huh?
I do. I think I do, but I'm not sure, you know. So.
All right. Well, I guess better not to try to recollect and be wrong than
I might be in the wrong place, you know.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
One of the things that I mean, over the years that you've gained a reputation as being a great live performer, and even on the most current album, When I'm President, it doesn't seem like you overproduce the albums. That you really catch that live sound. Is that something you do consciously when you're recording a new album?
It was with this one. We wanted to get in and out real quick. The passion and the power. That was the code words. And we just went in and knocked them out as quickly as we possibly could. It was like 4 days. The band was hot. We just played 20 dates. And it was like, why mess about? The previous two albums I'd done, Shrunken Heads and Man Overboard, they'd both been engineered by the same guy, so he knew us. And I guess a lot came together, you know, the band working together just before we went in, and knowing the engineer in the studio. The sound came quick, you know. And it was more of a rock album, so the drums were slightly higher in the mix, stuff like that. But all in all, you know, well happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I mean, sound-wise, it's very in your face. It sounds incredibly fresh. It's just a lot of fun to listen to, and there doesn't seem to be any filler on it either.
There's no filler on it. I'd tell you if there was. There usually is. But on this one, for some strange reason, I just got lucky in the summer. As fast as I was writing them, I was getting more, you know. And so I was fortunate. I mean, you can go years without writing a song. I just got lucky. I wake up every day and there'd be another idea, you know. Nothing worse than having one idea, because you can write it to death. But if you're getting 4 or 5 ideas, you can flip between them. You know, if you get like bored with one, you can go to the next one, stuff like that. So the summer had been really good, you know. And then touring with the band, you know, you could tell they were playing with me. They weren't playing for me. And I guess all albums, when I did Schizophrenic, which was a successful record, there's a combination of flukes that have to take place. You know, you may see certain people at certain points in their lives where you just get lucky.
And it's got to be tough too, because you know, you see a lot of times you have artists, especially as they go later in their careers, where it doesn't seem like they really care if they put out an album or not, and if they do, it's like you said, you know, you get a bunch of filler and all that stuff. I mean, what motivated you to make this album? Was it just you were feeling incredibly creative at the time that you guys entered the studio?
It's just motivation, really. I mean, the fact that at my age I'm not supposed to do this is like motivation. It's good fun. It's like, well, why not, you know? I mean, you spend your whole life doing this, so you sort of learn how to do it. It seems really silly not to do it when you really got the hang of it, you know. A lot of people seem to want to continually rehash, but I don't really see the point in that. People I grew up with, like Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis, Chuck Berry, they all look to me like they got really bored by playing the same sort of songs over and over and over the years. And Jerry Lee Lewis, you know, a whole lot of shaking, Great Balls of Fire, and they didn't look too happy, you know. So I just thought, well, I'll keep going. I'll keep doing new stuff. And musical tastes change, and stuff comes and goes. I just figure you do the best you can with what you got, you know.
Well, you know, I think what strikes me, I don't know how to phrase this and maybe sound nice about it, though, but I mean, if you think of a guy in his 70s making a rock album, you'd think it would sound pretty lifeless, but this doesn't sound like a guy in his 70s. I mean, it's pretty darn amazing when you get right down to it.
Well, you know, the Ram Band are all, you know, 40s. They're considerably younger than me, so maybe that's got a lot to do with it, you know.
Well, there's also rock bands that are putting out albums in their 40s that sound like they're in their 70s because they just sound so strange.
Well, that was always the case. Yeah. Well, that was always the case. You know, I guess it all depends who you are and what you want to do. You know, I was never particularly into the financial end of things. I just when I was 15, I didn't know where I was, and then rock and roll sort of came along, and then I knew where I was. So, you know, the least you can do is respect something that gave you life. You know.
And one of the songs I'd like to talk about, because it's a particular favorite, is the title cut. And, you know, it in a presidential election year and everything like that, and obviously the theme on the 1%, the taxation. Now, you did a mini tour with Todd Rundgren many years ago supporting John Anderson for president. I know you're born in the UK, so I'm just curious about your thoughts about presidential politics. It's obviously a subject that's important to you.
Well, it has been over the last few years, because, I mean, I've lived here 38 years now, and it amazes me sometimes how like, the Republican Party can pull these people out of the pie. I mean, you've got some very clever conservatives in this country, very smart, and it's just amazing to me how they let the party be represented by people like you see, you know, on radio and on television. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I think they should be looking at the people who represent them, because there's nothing wrong with the Republican Party concept. It's just these people, you know. They're like second-hand car dealers from the 50s. It doesn't work anymore. People have changed, you know. And I think that's why the Republicans aren't doing too well. And it's a shame, you know, because you want two valid parties, you know. Two parties is not enough, but I mean, if you're going to have two parties, at least make them both valid, you know.
And, I mean, for a long time, music was really the place where people could protest against these government parties, and really you don't see a lot of that anymore. I mean, the type of song that you wrote would be offensive to some people. I mean, not to me, because I guess we're like-minded politically, but I don't know. That's one of the things that I found great about the song, is it just cut right to the chase and said, here's the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you know, they're screaming and shouting and God knows what else. I mean, these people earn, what is it? He wants to charge an extra few bob for people who earn over $250,000 a year, and it's only a few bob. It's not like a lot. You know, it's not like you're going to get taken to cleaners here. You know, so. Everything always seems so hysterical in this country, you know.
Well, what is it? I mean, what is it about
Warren Buffett's offering? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal, but like for some reason, the conservatives just seem to get everything wrong. You know, it's a shame, because, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the concept of republicanism. It's a good idea. I'm sure there's a lot of really decent Republicans squirming at these people that represent them.
Yeah, and you know, again, going back to that support of Ian Hunter John Anderson in 1980. So you said you lived in this country for 38 years. So that was probably right around the time that you had just moved to this country. What motivated you to support him as a third-party candidate?
Probably I wanted to play with Todd. I can't remember. I mean, that one came out of the blue, and I just thought, yeah, I mean, we're total opposites, you know. That should be fun, you know. But I can't remember. I met Mr. Anderson, I think, and he was your typical politico, you know. I really was pretty ignorant as to American politics at that time, so I would imagine my main motivation would have been, you know, playing with Todd.
And in many ways, you and Todd Rundgren have, even if musically there's some different directions, you both have kind of followed the same model of making music for the sake of music and continuing to perform on a regular basis, and in spite of whatever record companies are doing or putting out at the time. And I remember Todd Rundgren actually said once, maybe it was during an interview that he had with me, that it's better to have a loyal fan base over a long time than to be a flash in the pan for a short period of time. Do you think that's a fair statement?
Well, yeah. I mean, Todd's a very erudite person, a very clever guy. He would put it into words much probably sooner and much clearer than I would. But yeah, I mean, it's true. If you, I mean, the whole thing with Mott, and it's the web as well, because these people, there was pockets all over the world, and when the web came along, it was a big opportunity for these people to start linking up. Most of my audience now, when I go out, I mean, they link up. We get people coming in from Russia, we get people from America and the UK, and vice versa. And the web's done us a lot of good, But it's only because you keep that small cadre of loyal supporters, and they'll see you through. It's kind of like a football team, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, for your part, I mean, you still have to continue to produce quality material, and again, I think an artist that maybe was a flash in the pan isn't going to be able to put out an album like When I'm President and play much of it, if any of it, live.
I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else. All I try to do is, I do what I do to the best of my ability. That's all you can do. I was brought up at a certain time. I was influenced by certain people. And that just sort of comes through in what I do. What am I going to do? I ain't going to do Gangnam Style, right? I ain't going to be a rapper, So, this is what I do. Take it or leave it, basically. And fortunately, we get enough people to take it to keep us in business. And it's getting better.
And I don't want to take too much of your time. I think we'll figure out about 15 minutes. One of the trends going on right now is you're seeing a lot of these rock star biographies, these autobiographies and everything. One of the first ones ever written was Diary of a Rock and Roll Star, that was yours, and there's some great stories in it about you and trying to meet Elvis Presley and things like that. Is there any possibility we could see that released digitally or maybe for a Kindle or something like that? Because I think there'd just be a great market for it. That'd be the first part of the question. And then secondarily, would it be something you'd consider revisiting? Maybe doing a diary of a short tour with your current band and comparing it to the kind of the craziness that was going on in your younger years when you were touring with Mott the Hoople?
I think it's still released in Britain anyway. So I don't know what edition it is now, but it's kind of like a textbook over there, and it's also quaintly historical. As far as doing another one, I tried on a couple of occasions, but it has that one has that natural sort of climax to it with the Elvis thing. Normally, most tours you just go home. You don't get that lucky, So to write a book and for nothing to happen at the end of it is kind of self-defeating, and also it doesn't pay well.
Well, what was your motivation for writing it back then? Because there wasn't necessarily a market. I imagine it would be for art's sake. It's just an incredible piece.
No, what it was I just got married, and the social aspect of things was out the window now. So I had a lot of time on my hands, and I just decided I'd. She wasn't with me because we couldn't afford to take her on the road, so I was just. I decided I'd fill all that time with, writing a diary. So I wrote this diary morning, noon, and night. It just got to be like a fetish. And then when I got back to England, there was a guy called Charlie Gillett who had a deal with Tampa, and he was behind. He was 2 books behind. And I've got this diary, if that'll help you out. And Charlie gave him the diary. I think Charlie edited it, and you know, that helped Charlie out, and it got me a book deal, and everybody was happy.
Great. Well, I'd love to see you try to release that digitally. I think it'd be a great market.
Well, maybe they will. I don't know. I haven't really got in it. I haven't spoken to the guy for a while, but I know it's still out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, listen. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I mean, you obviously know you're a legend. I mean, your songs I've listened to them for years, and I really just appreciate being able to spend 15 minutes with you, and looking forward to seeing you play out here in Buffalo, New York. Hopefully, it'll be a very memorable show.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're hot at the moment. We'll see. Okay.
All right, man. Thanks. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
A stranger in a strange land. I feel like an alien. It's like I'm on the outside looking in. I don't seem to fit